Welcome back. Now, if there's one subject that's more important than the others, it's this one. Because you're going to find that as simple as these things are, they are just critical to really having a happy, successful life. All right? So, fasten your seatbelt and let's start. I'm going to start with this. That your goal should never be to have a successful life. Your goal should be to have a happy and successful life. Because there's no real success if you're not happy. Happiness is not an option. It's a requirement. Okay? Okay. Now look, I really hope you're already happy and successful. But if you're not, you're far from alone. Because most of the people in this country today feel they have neither a successful life nor a happy one. We've reached the point where only 33% of Americans are happy. 33%. Worldwide, we rank number 23 out of the top 50 countries and dropping. We have this amazing country, the richest and most powerful country in the world, and yet most Americans are not that happy, nor do they feel all that successful. How can this be? The truth is, we've been sold a very bad bill of goods, and incredibly effectively, I might add, as to what it is that will make us successful, as to what it is will make us happy. Over and over again, we're told that money adds to happiness. Success is more, a bigger job, a better house, a nicer car, that if we work hard, save our money, that someday we get to live the good life. Well, I ask you, have these things worked? They haven't, have they? Now look, I'm not saying money can't add to happiness, because it can, but that's not what's happening. Not even for those that have loads of money. The facts are that most of the rich, most of the successful, most of the famous people in this country today are unhappy. Is that success? And for everybody else? 2 people in 3 over 50 today can't retire. They don't and won't have the money. Just how screwed up is that? And I ask you, why do you have to wait till you're 65 anyway to live the good life? Well, the answer is you don't. The truth is you can be happy, you can be successful, you can be free to work at what you want, when you want, live and where and how you want, and do it a heck of a lot sooner than 65. But to do that, to achieve that, you may well have to change how you're going about things. To do what does work, to learn how to do it, and to make the commitment to go and get it. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. The real keys to a happy and successful life. And I'm telling you before we start that the list may surprise you, because for most people, the real keys are not what they think there are. But first I want to vent for a moment. Why in the world aren't we told these things? Huh? Not unless we had parents who both knew and shared what they knew. Why in the world do we have to learn this stuff the hard way, if indeed we ever do? When you talk to people that have lived a long life, they're going to tell you that it's the very things I'm about to cover that really matter. Unfortunately, they'll also tell you so very often that failing to do some of those things are their greatest regrets. So how do you think I learned this stuff, huh? Trial and error, baby. 76 years of it. I got the scars all over my body to prove it. Fortunately, I did learn. And I'm also not alone. I've met a lot of other people who also know what to do and have very happy and successful lives. Some had really great parents who taught them from the get-go. Most of them were like me. Trial and error, lots and lots of trial and error in the real world. You know, actually, I guess we're the fortunate ones, aren't we? Certainly a lot more fortunate than the hundreds of millions who aren't happy and successful. Well, the good news is that needn't be you, not after we finish today. So let's go. There are 10 keys to a happy and successful life. Many of them will seem so simple, so obvious, you'll be tempted to say, well, I know that. But as I explain each one, you got to ask a question. Are you doing it? If you don't do it, it doesn't matter what you think you know. And I'm telling you, you need to do them all, every single one. If you don't, you begin to greatly reduce the chances you're going to have the life you wish for. In many cases, failing to do these things won't just reduce your chances, it'll end it. It'll end your chance of success. You will not have the life you wish. So please, I know this sounds like overkill, but I promise you it's not. If at any time you doubt me, talk to people who have had a full and happy life, and I'm dead sure they'll tell you what I'm saying is so. So when you get your notes at the end of this session, draw a line under the ones you're not doing good enough and make the commitment to change that starting right now, okay? Okay, let's go. Key number 1, never trade away what matters most for money, power, possessions, or status. What matters most is your health, your relationships, and liking what you do with your days. Don't ever trade away any one of these 3 critically important things. If you do, you lose. I just said a moment ago, most rich people are unhappy. And this is one of the biggest reasons why. They traded. Never spent enough time with their family, always working extra hours or traveling. But hey, someday they're going to be really successful, have a lot of money, the president of the company or whatever. And then, hey, they'll have it all. They'll really be happy. You think that works? Check it out. It does not. They trade their health. You think you win if take health. You think you win if you're rich and you have a serious health problem, a heart condition, cancer, whatever? You'd trade every last penny to be healthy again. And that's your relationships. Let me show you a poster child for what not to do. See this guy? He look happy to you? Not really, huh? So who is he? Well, he's the winner. That's who. That's J. Paul Getty. When this picture was taken, he was the richest man in the world. He was number 1, the winner. 5 failed marriages. Didn't seem to care about his kids, just making more money. His oldest son committed suicide. Spent the last 10 years of his life essentially alone in a 72-room castle in England. All he had was servants. Lots and lots of servants. Did he regret how he lived his life? You know he did. Here's a quote from him back then. A quote from him. I hate and regret the failure of my marriages. I would gladly give all my millions, billions really, all my millions for just one lasting marital success. He'd gladly give away every last cent. Think about it. Every last cent for just having a happy marriage. Talk about regrets. No amount of money changes the importance of these things. No amount of money, if you trade them away, you trade your health, relationships, or liking what you do. So I'm telling you again, never trade away what matters most in your life for money, power, possessions, or status. Never trade away your health, your relationships, and liking what you do with your days. Because if you do, you'll almost certainly end up deeply regretting it, how your life will end up. Key number 2. Take good care of your health. Invest in and cherish good relationships. Now, I could have included this in key number 1, but it deserves to be listed separately. Just how critical is having good health? Now, you know the answer. And this is something very heavily under your control. I don't have to tell you how to do it. You know what to do. But I'm asking you, I'm kind of begging you, please take good care of your health. I have, and I can't tell you how it's added to my life and will continue to add to my life. I'm 76, I feel like I'm 30-something. There's nothing reasonable I can't do. No pain, no limitations, take no medicines. It's awesome. And you can do this too. You can. Nothing is stopping you. Don't let anything stop you. On relationships, what good is life if you have no one to share it with? Family, friends? Think about it for a minute. What would your life be like if you had nobody in it, like Getty? Nobody. You get it? How important it is? Don't ever trade it away. Don't do what Getty did. Do the opposite. Invest in relationships. Spend the time. Help people. Hang out together. Whatever works, okay? Invest in relationships and cherish them. And then a quick word about relationships in today's world. A little side thing, but interesting. If you're under 30, or you work with and maybe manage people under 30, and especially if you have kids under 30, there's a video you need to see. Go see Simon Sinek Millennials on YouTube. Very, very educational. because the millennials have a serious relationship challenge on their hands, and you need to know about it. I mean, you may have seen it. Half the people I talked to have seen the video. Simon Sinek Millennials, okay? So a little extra thing for you to check out. All right, key number 3. I already kind of said it. Work at something you like. My daughter just went into the work world. I told her, hey, don't take a job for money. Work at something you like. Now, fortunately, she already believed that, and that's just what she went and did. Tied to this is the fact that we're all only good at some things and not at others. Me, I'm a mechanical idiot. And what we're good at is also usually what we like to do. So do what you like, do what you're good at, and have people help you with what they're good at. And there's even more good news here. Because doing what you like and are good at usually makes you more money in the long run anyway. So the bottom line, work at something you like. By the way, Warren Buffett lists this as rule number 1 in his top 10 rules for success. So it's not just me telling you this. All right, number 4. I'm sure you've heard about the power of positive thinking. Well, I'm here to tell you it works. It really does. Always believe in yourself, and you should. I ask you, here's a thought. How many bad little kids you ever run across? Not many, right? How many bad babies? Try none. What's my point? My point is that all of us hit all of our lives, and starting very young, with negative baggage. From parents who loved us, from society, you name it. You can't do this, you're not good at that, you're not that smart, and so on. Well, it's not true. We all start out good, and that's who we really are deep down. Dump the baggage. I'll tell you one way to do it, one way to help you. Take a moment and look at a picture of yourself as a little kid. You know, little kid, 3 years old, whatever. What's wrong with that kid? Huh? Nothing, right? He was a good kid. Well, that kid is you. So don't let the problems of others cloud your vision, your judgment. Always believe in yourself, okay? When you do, you're both making the right decision, and you're also seeing that things will go well for you. It's a key point. You remember what I said in the introductory video about the guy who studied thousands of people to try to determine why people succeed? That he identified 20 reasons why people succeed, and that nowhere on that list, not even down to number 20, was your IQ, or who your family was, or how you looked, or your education, or anything of that sort. So don't you for 1 minute think you can't have the life you wish for. You can, because you can. So always believe in yourself, always have a positive attitude. When it comes to money, and especially for your life as a whole, the number 1 key to your success or failure will probably be whether you do or don't have or adopt a positive attitude. A lot of really smart people have talked about this through the ages, by the way. Not long ago, it was covered in a very successful book and then a movie called The Secret. Prior to that, Dr. Wayne Dwyer had a bestseller called The Power of Intention. 70 years ago, it was more Dr. Norman Vincent Peale's Power of Positive Thinking. They're all saying the same thing. What you expect, you get. Sounds crazy, but these people were smart. This is real life, real results. So if you really want all that life can offer you, always maintain a positive attitude. Believe in yourself. Number 5, be disciplined. Do what you said you have to do to get what you said you wanted. I know this seems so obvious, so simple. Why am I even raising it, huh? Well, for openers, it's probably the biggest single reason people either succeed or fail at their job, at their career. Think about the people you know personally that are successful, co-workers and such, friends, family members. For the most part, they're pretty disciplined, aren't they? And the ones that aren't? Yep. Reality here is simple and unavoidable. If you don't do the things you said you'd do to get the things you said you wanted, you ain't gonna get them. You're not. On the flip side, the news is great, because you just go out and do these things reliably and thoroughly, you'll get them. So do what you said you'd do. Do what you know you have to do and do it well, and watch how the rewards drop right into your lap. And while you're at it, add something. Add the power of momentum to the power of discipline. So how do you do this? You take a goal and you break it into some smaller steps. Commit to just doing the first step, just the first one. Once you completed that first step, just commit to do the second step, and so on. And when you do, the momentum starts, and it all gets easier and easier. Getting out of debt, saving a lot of money, you name it. Developing momentum is a great way to pull it off. I use it all the time. I look at the job, it's so big, and I go, oh, wait a second, break it down. Just do this first step. And you're surprising. You do the next one, the next one. Okay, on to key number 6. Always treat others as you wish to be treated. I run all my businesses and my life using this rule. I never break it. And it amazes me that an awful lot of business owners and managers don't follow it. And you know why? I ask you, what do you think happens when they don't? It's simple. The good people leave and the bad people stay. The good people leave and the bad people stay. You don't treat people the way you'd like to be treated, and they see it. And the good people have options. People want them. So voila, they're gone. The bad people, on the other hand, they don't have it as good, so they stay. And I ask you, you want to run a business or a department with more bad people than good? Huh? I sure don't. Well, let me give you the biggest reason why you need to do that. Bigger yet, why you should treat everybody as you wish to be treated. That reason is karma. In this life, you get what you give. You always do. Karma is absolutely, absolutely unavoidable. Check it out. Check it out. Think of the people you know. Check out that rich and successful guy that screwed everybody to get where he is. Did he win the game? No way. Karma is unavoidable. You get what you give. His wife is cheating on him. His daughter's in drug rehab and he's got a heart condition. He's unhappy, probably very unhappy. So I'm telling you again, you get back what you give in this life. Karma is absolutely unavoidable. So always treat everybody like you want to be treated. You'll be awfully glad you did. And while you're at it, let me add something. If there's someone in your life that doesn't treat you like they would wish to be treated, walk away. Remove them from your life. And there's more. If someone treats you well, but doesn't treat others well, walk away. Because if you don't, your turn will come. I call that my Jack Borganick rule, because I learned that the hard way in my late 30s from a guy named Jack Borganick. Treated me great, but I kept hearing from others that he was bad news. One day my turn came, and oh boy, I never forgot that day. All right? So there you go. Key number 6, always treat others as you wish to be treated. Number 7, be willing to take chances, but always do your homework very thoroughly before you do. Most people don't do that. They don't take chances. They go through their whole life working at a job they don't like, in a marriage that long ago stopped working, but they don't change. Change scares them or whatever, or makes them uncomfortable. They just keep living the life that's so far less than they could have had. Don't do it. Believe in yourself and take chances. But just be sure to do your homework very thoroughly before you do. Good and thorough homework will greatly increase your chances of success. So never shortchange that step. And don't take chances just once. The more chances you take, the more you learn and the better you get at it. And that means the percent of the time you win keeps getting higher. That's exactly what's happened for me. I haven't succeeded at everything. But I'll tell you what, the failures taught me lots of things that I went on to use for the next successes. It's basic learning. It's sort of like learning how to ride a bike, in a way. Here's a quick list of some people. I'll give you an example. Here's a quick list of some people who failed before they succeeded, and where their failures, like me, taught them what they needed to learn so they could go on and then succeed. Bill Gates, Colonel Sanders, Walt Disney, Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, Oprah Winfrey, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan got cut from his high school varsity team. Did you know that? Demoted to JV. The list is endless. Here's a quote from Oprah that is a great quote. It kind of says it all. Quote, "There is no such thing as failure. Failure is just life trying to move us in another direction. What a great quote. Says it all. I can tell you personally how great it can be to take reasonable, thought-out chances, to live a full life, not a very limited one. I've had and have a great life, and taking chances has been a very big reason why. I've had 7 careers, succeeded at 6, failed at 1 of them. They averaged about 8 years each, so I'm not exactly a flighty guy. Hard rock band leader, police officer, pioneer techie, built a real estate brokerage company from nothing to 5 offices, 120 people, and ran it 10 years. Became a multimillionaire investing in real estate and land development, then lost it all in the crash of the late 80s. Every last cent. Had to borrow $3,000 from my 80-year-old mother to buy a car as they repossessed everything. But that was the day, see, now you learn, now watch this. That was the day I came to understand the cycles of the real estate and stock markets. And I've called all the major moves of those cycles over the last 25 years since then. I became a higher gun stock investor all through the 90s, rebuilt my financial freedom, knew when to come and when to go from all the markets. But as I said, I forgot, let me tell you this fail story. I failed at one career. I decided I wanted to make movies. I took a crash course at NYU, one of the top 2 film schools in the world at that time. Then went on to write, produce, and direct a feature film. Shot it on the streets of New York. The film didn't make it. I failed. But did I? If I never went after that dream, I would have regretted it the rest of my life. No way I wanted to be sitting there someday watching young people go by and saying, I wish I had. No way. So it really wasn't a failure. It was just part of my journey. And the stories I could tell you, man, got to have been the most interesting years of my life. So was it a failure? No, not at all. So you don't always, quote unquote, win when you take a chance. But more than likely or not, provided you do your homework thoroughly, and I remind you of that, thorough homework, you will. And even when you don't, often when you look back at it, you realize you did in the long run, like me in the film thing, right? It's quite common, for example, and this is a particularly important point, it's quite common, for example, that what you learned from the failure gave you what you needed to succeed going forward in the next one, just like those famous people I talked about. So there you go. Take reasonable, well thought out chances. And the chances are you get to live a full life, as I have. I mean, now don't be crazy like me. Tone it down a bit. 7 careers is a bit much. Oh, well, what can I tell you? But on the flip side, do you think you'll really be happy doing only one thing, only one career your whole life? Maybe a new one every so often just might be a better way to go. And I think for most people it is. Okay. On to key number 8. Minimize making the same mistake twice. Oh boy, we're into one of these simple things again, okay? Seems so simple. Why am I even raising it? I'll tell you why. Because it really is one of the keys to a happy and successful life, and it's also one of the things that deeply damages the life of tens of millions of people, and you don't want to be in that group. I want you to think about it. How many people you know that get involved with the wrong person, boyfriend or girlfriend, husband or wife or whatever, end up breaking it off, and then go on to choose exactly that same kind of person again, often over and over? You've seen that a lot, haven't you? Yep. Well, there you go. Making the same mistake twice, and usually a lot more than twice. There's an Asian saying that if something didn't work the first time and you do it again, that's the definition of insanity. I'll buy that in a way. And I'm not just talking about relationships here, okay? How many people do you know that fail at a job or are unhappy with their job, go on to the next one, and fail or are unhappy all over again? Well, when that happens, is it those jobs? I don't think so. If you look under the covers, it's what the person did. Maybe they kept picking the wrong kind of job. Maybe they keep doing certain things wrong on their job and then go on and do those same things wrong again. So there you go. And by the way, this one is really easy to spot and usually not hard to correct. So think about your life. Have you been doing it? If so, stop it right now. Identify what you're doing that didn't work and don't do it again. And from now on, going forward, if something doesn't work out, it's okay, but stop and ask why and see to it you don't repeat what didn't work the first time. Make some adjustments. And if you're having trouble figuring out what you're doing wrong, ask the help of the people that know you the best, because they know what it is. But we're probably too uncomfortable to say anything to you about it, so ask them. And before we're done, a word on making mistakes. Mistakes are great. They're often your very best friend. Ask yourself, what percent of what you know, of what you can do, did you learn by trial and error? It's most of it, isn't it? Heck, we fell down hundreds of times before we learned to walk. Said mama wrong endlessly until we got it right. So be willing to take thought-out chances. Make lots of it. Make loads of errors, mostly small, but sometimes not so small. And learn to adjust your course as you go. But please, don't keep making the same mistake again. If it didn't work, you need to make some kind of adjustment. It's what successful people do. So that's it. Key number 8. And once again, you're seeing so much of these keys are such common sense. They're so straightforward. But I ask you, when in your education did anyone tell you these things? Emphasize these things? The answer is, unfortunately, they didn't. But it's not a problem. Not anymore, because now you know. You know what you do, and you know you can. Before we go on to key number 9, I have one more input when it comes to this kind of stuff. There's a saying I totally buy into and I use every time I need to, that the past is only good for fond memories and learning from it. Well, we just talked about the learning part, so let's cover the other half. If you let problems in the past bother you, you're making the damage worse. What's done is done. You can't undo it. You can only learn from it. If you continue to let it bother you, you're just adding to the damage, being less happy today. So don't do it. At least don't do it for very long. Now, I'll admit that sometimes if it's something big, it does bother me. But thankfully, within a few days at the most, I realize it's done. There's nothing I can do about it but learn from it, except get on with it and learn from it. And it makes no sense to have it keep taking away from my happiness going forward. And I'm telling you the truth. I stop. I really do. And move on. So a little extra thing to think about there, okay? All right, key number 9. Have a written plan for your life and money, your money in your life. Now this is a whole separate session. That's subject number 2. If you haven't done it yet, the importance of this key and how to do it will be covered in that session. If you've already done that one, well, you know why it's on this list. And if you haven't taken it yet, you'll know when you do. And finally, key number 10. Learn how to successfully manage your money and do it yourself. If you haven't yet taken subject number 5, where, when, and how to invest your money, you need to understand you've been told 2 lies. 2 very huge, very damaging lies. The only reason these lies have worked is because no one ever gave you the information you needed. No real education in personal money management until now. These courses. And without that information, business has been having a field day at most people's expense. But for you, now that you're taking this course, that game is over. But let's look at the lies. Lie number 1, that money management is so very complicated. Well, the truth is, and you're learning in these courses, that money management is not complicated. It's actually quite straightforward. And almost anyone can do it and do it well. They've endlessly been doing their best to make you believe otherwise, to make you think it's complicated. You can't do it yourself, that you need the help of an expert. They only do this for one reason, so they can get their hands on your money and get a nice juicy cut of it. And I'm telling you, when you see the numbers, it's jaw-dropping what they're doing. And that leads us to lie number 2, that the experts can manage your money better than you. I have a question for you. Would you let somebody deeply influence your financial success, your financial freedom, the quality of your retirement and such, without any proof whatsoever that they were any good at it? No? No? Okay. Well, yeah. Well, I ask you, have you ever seen the complete 10 to 15 year track record of your financial advisor? The complete 10 to 15 year track record of the firm managing your money? I'm pretty darn sure you haven't. And let me tell you why. Because it's bad. That's why. And if you think, and just in case you think I'm exaggerating, here are some facts for you. 98% of all professionally managed stock funds underperformed the market in 10 years. The absolute greatest investment study in stock market history said it all. You don't know about this study. The industry decided to do it as a great marketing tool for them. They provided trillions of dollars of data. They picked the data. They hired 4 teams headed by a team from the Harvard Business School. When they got the results of this study that was supposed to be a great marketing tool for them, they panicked. They panicked. And I have the results of the study on my site, as well as the letter of the industry in panic. Fun reading, okay? Why did they panic? Because the results of the study was this. People who invest their money themselves average twice the return of people who use experts. Holy cow. Huh. Unbelievable. I'll give you more unbelievable. The financial media, all those experts that keep advising people every day, without exception, they're disastrous. Now, I could go on all day, but I won't. I'm just going to give you one example, a quick example to make my point. Okay? Here you go. Let's look at Jim Cramer. Every day on TV for the last 20 years or so, this guy is the nation's #1 guru on stock investing. Well, how about this? Barron's did a study on Jim Cramer's stock recommendations. And the conclusion of the study was very clear. The only way to make money on Jim Cramer's stock recommendations is to do exactly the opposite of what he says. If he says buy it, you sell it or short it. If he says sell it, you buy it. How about that? This is guy, no one's challenging this. Barron's is indisputably a reliable source, major. And this guy's on TV every day giving his stock recommendations, but no one's ever tracking the results. Let's look at this another way. We'll go a little further. I got a question for you. I told everybody to run from the stock market Christmas. This is about the lies, okay? I told everybody to run from the stock market Christmas of 1999 and don't look back. That was 17 years ago. So here's the question. If you had matched the stock market for the last 17 years, if you had matched it, how much money would you have made inflation adjusted, real dollars? How much per year or how much total would you have made in 17 years? Are you ready? The answer is inflation adjusted, that you didn't even make 1% a year. Not even 1%. And here's the proof. It's very straightforward. The S&P 500 index is about 75% of the stock market. When I told everybody to run and go to real estate, Christmas 1999, where we went on, by the way, to make a lot of money, the S&P was 1484. Today it's around 2350. Do the math. 1484 to 2350 is a gain of 58%. The official inflation rate in over those 17 years is up 46%. And that's probably an understated number. Anyway, even using that number, the answer is per year, over 17 years, you made 0.7%. Almost nothing. And it gets worse. For the 80% that depended on professionals to manage their money, they did a lot worse yet because of the skimming and the commissions and everything. They lost money. They lost a lot of money. So no wonder 2 people and 3 over 50 can't retire, huh? Listen, I'm telling you as a former insider, the whole thing is one big casino. They're not only grossly underperforming, they're skimming, commissions, management fees, trading commissions, and so on. You don't want to end up like that, and you don't have to. Manage your money yourself. When you do, you're likely to do it a lot better than any alleged expert is ever likely to do for you. And in subject number 6, where, when, and how to invest your money, I'll show you how to do that. Okay, there we go. I'll stop. That's it for today. The real keys to a happy and successful life. So let's summarize them. 1, Never trade away what matters most for money, possessions, power, possessions, status. 2, take good care of your health. Invest in and cherish good relationships. 3, work at something you like. 4, always have a positive attitude and always believe in yourself. 5, be disciplined. Please, do what you said you'd have to do to get what you said you wanted. 6, always treat others like you want to be treated. 7, be willing to take chances, but always do your homework very thoroughly before you do. 8, minimize making the same mistake twice. 9, have a written plan for your money in your life. And 10, learn how to successfully manage your money and do it yourself. And I tell you again, underline the ones you're not doing good enough and make the commitment to change that. And in the future, if things aren't going like you want them to with your life, go back to this list and ask yourself if there's something on the list you're not doing as well as you should. Now, I know this sounds extremely simplistic, but try it, because an awful lot of the time you'll see exactly what you need to do to change. That's how important these 10 things are. That's how powerful they are. And no one ever tells you these things, did they? Interesting. Well, you know, I don't have to say. Look, that's it for today, okay? I hope you got a lot out of today and of what we covered. So go get them, okay? Nothing's stopping you. Go get them. And once again, I remind you, please, if you feel you're getting a lot out of what I'm telling you, what I'm sharing with you, please tell your family and friends, your email list, your Facebook or whatever, about these courses. They need to know. So please help them if you feel I'm helping you, okay? So good luck, and always, I wish you the very best.